What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Finding Your Purpose. I hope life is treating everybody good, how it should be. But before we get started, I would like to remind everybody, as I always do, to please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. That way, we can get to 1,000 followers. Once we get to 1,000 and above, I have a lot of things planned. I have a lot of goodies and everything to give away. But I have to get to 1,000 and above followers, you guys. So let's get that going. Well, you know, here I go again talking about how we have to look out for ourselves, how we have to be aware before we get into situations that are a little too tough to handle. We have this situation out of Texas, Houston to be exact. We have Miss Regina and we have Michael here. We're going to call him Michael the idiot. Okay. Regina and Michael have they dated years past. Now pay attention. I said years past. They dated like 5 years ago. Yes, 5 years ago. But apparently, Michael could not get over it, and it was still bothering him up until today. Well, not generally speaking today. I mean today, as in still bothering him. So, about a few weeks ago, he calls Gina and he's like, trying to, you know, ask her to get back with him, saying he's changed, he's done all this, and she respectfully declines. Because, it's 5 years ago. They broke up in the first place because he just wasn't on her level. She was going to school to be a RN, which she did complete, and not only that, she just had a lot of goals and aspirations, things, and Michael didn't have any of that. He was basically just a stalemate, and doing things opposite of her, like, getting in trouble, all this stuff. So she leaves him. She's like, you're just not on my level. You don't have the drive and, the things that I need to coincide to make the relationship work. So she breaks up with him, and excuse me, my nose was itching. She breaks up with him, and eventually she moves on. Well, Michael here decides to follow her on her Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all the social media where you can follow someone and kind of see what they post. So he was not okay with her moving on. Like, you know, he saw that she had got a new man, you know, was pregnant, and ended up having, her child, eventually having two kids and doing good. She was happy and thriving, in her new partner was thriving as well in his success. They were just a good match. Everything was going good. So Michael contacts Gina and is constantly asking, can we get back together? This and that. And Gina respectfully declines, like, no, no, whatever. So 2 weeks go by, and Gina's like doing her things. She's getting ready to, actually, she was getting ready to go grocery shopping and then come back, and, do dinner, for her kids and her significant other as well as herself. But she gets a call, and it's Michael, and he's like, you know, I'm I'm gonna come shoot you and shoot your house up, and all these vital threats. So she hangs up. She calls the police. She tells them, what's going on. She's terrified. She's like, I got two kids. He's threatening me, this and that. This is what he said he's gonna do. Okay. Somehow that call got disconnected. The call got lost. But it was enough to alarm the police that, okay, yes, we do need to head out there, you know, so we're on our way. The police went out there, but they get another call coming in because the dispatcher was trying to call back because that call got disconnected. But in doing that, excuse me, the police get another call coming in from that same location. And it was her friend who was at her house with her. And her friend was telling her, my friend's been shot. She was telling her everything that was going on. So the police were already on their way. But by the time they get there, they notice an unresponsive Gina. And, of course, they had to look around, search. They noticed, windows, shot at. And, of course, her friend was there to tell them what went on, this and that. Eventually, they caught Michael's retarded ass. Thank God for that. But this is my thing, you guys. It was 5 years ago. You guys dated 5 years ago. You, how could you can't? I know sometimes it is hard to get over things, but if you can't seem to get over it, why continuously follow someone on their social media? If you can't handle the fact that they want nothing to do with you anymore, why are you torturing yourself by following what they're doing, and it's doing nothing but building up anger and hatred and everything else because you at the time didn't see the signs. And what I mean by signs is There had to be signs showing Michael at the time when they were together. There had to be signs showing that, this isn't working. I mean, you can't see that she was unhappy during that time. You weren't your happiest during that time. Why couldn't you work on yourself during that time? And maybe you guys could have been together still. But now I do know that in certain situations, people don't see the signs when they're actually in the relationship or in the situation. They don't see what is going wrong until they actually step out of it. So, I do understand that part, but that's why I say you must pay attention. You have to be aware. But the whole 5 years, you guys were apart for 5 years. You, Michael, sat there and tormented yourself by following her on all her social media outlets, knowing it was hard for you to take the information and things that you were receiving. So, in a way, you tortured yourself. And then you go, take Gina's life because you couldn't handle that. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. You could have just deleted her from your social media. That would have helped. Or, like I'm saying, before they broke up, he could have tried to talk, try to get an understanding as to why she was feeling the way she was feeling. Because in doing the research, it said that, she did tell him, like, I'm not feeling this, it's just not working, this and that. So why didn't you try to have a sensible conversation and then try to go from there? This is what I'm not getting the whole 5 years later. I'm not getting that. And I don't think it's right. Because one, I don't care if it was 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years. It did not work. Some people are only in our lives for a season. Some people come into our lives because they are lessons for us. That does not mean they're supposed to stay. You have to pay attention and learn the difference. Some people are only lessons. Some people come into our lives for a season. That does not mean they're meant to stay. But regardless of the fact, it does not give this crazy ass Michael the right to take her life. Now her kids have to grow up without their mother just because her ex couldn't understand that it just wasn't meant to be between them. It's not okay. And it's irritating because I'm constantly doing shows like this, talking about situations like this, to where people just cannot accept the fact that it did not work out. He or she just did not want this because it was not good for them, or they had to take the time to work on themselves or anything like that. It's just not good when you constantly hear and see stories like this. So, that's what I'm saying, you guys. I just want you guys to just be aware. And if you do end a relationship, just always watch your back, because you don't know if they're still, watching you in some way, shape, or form, or, you know, still trying to contact you, or maybe contact people around you to get to you. You just don't know. So we have to be prepared. So, yes, my heart goes out to Gina and her family and her poor children. And I'm glad that this idiot Michael got caught. He deserves to be under the jail and prison whenever he goes, because he's going. You deserve everything you get, because to me, 5 years. You had time to sit there and plan and scheme and plot on what you were going to do if she denied you once you started asking her again. If 5 years is more than enough time to sit there and let it fester in your mind of what you're going to do. And to me, he had plenty of time. So enough is enough. It's time for them to get justice, and it's time for people like Michael to wake up and realize it is not the end of the world if the person you are with at the time, if you guys happen to drift onto different paths, it's not the end of the world. You still have time to grow. The other person still has time to grow. And if it is meant to be, you guys would come back to each other. And if it's not meant to be, well, send blessings and move on. There's no need to ruin someone's life just because you can't get over that fact. So, you guys, yeah, I just want to get on real quick and talk about that story because that bothered me. 5 years, and you still can't let go. I don't know, you guys, just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the choices that you make, because some people cannot handle the things that the choices that we make. Like if it's something that we no longer want to partake in, some people can't handle that. So we just got to be aware of the kind of people that we're dealing with. We got to let them know the kind of people that we are. Maybe that will cut down on some of this craziness. Hopefully, you guys. But like I said, let's hope that the Castro family gets the justice that they deserve, and hope that that idiot Michael never sees daylight again. I love you guys. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And remember, we are all designed for a purpose. Therefore, we all have a purpose. So if you have found your purpose, stand in it. Don't let anyone take you out of it. And if you have not found your purpose, it's okay. Keep searching, no matter how big, how small, it's there because we all have one. I love you guys, and I will catch you next week. Stay safe.